Hello everyone, my name is Lynn. Thanks for joining me on the Frye family's activity. We'll start by looking and talking about two artworks from the Frye's collection before making some art. Feel free to pause at any moment if you need more time to look, discuss, or simply take a break. Grab an art buddy and let's get started, shall we? Take a moment and look at this artwork closely. What do you see that's going on here? It's hard to miss the fact that it's a portrait of a girl, isn't it? What's a portrait, you might ask? A portrait is an image of a person. Let's keep looking. What do you notice about this girl? She has short dark hair and she's wearing a white dress. Oh yes, she's also holding a scroll in her hands. What do you think the scroll might be? The title of this painting is called The Graduate. Perhaps she's holding a diploma or certificate because she just graduated? Maybe that also explains why she's wearing a nice white dress. Let's focus on her facial expression for a moment. She's looking towards the right side of the painting. Based on what you see, what do you think she might be thinking? How might she be feeling? Talk with your art buddy. Her expression is fairly neutral. We can tell if she's happy, angry, or sad. Perhaps she's reflecting back in the past, thinking about the future, or simply looking at something. If she's looking at something, I wonder what she might be looking at. What do you think? There are many different ways of creating a portrait. Here's another portrait of a girl. How is this portrait different than the previous one that we just looked at? Share your thoughts with your art buddy. This work focuses on the girl's face as we don't see many details on her neck and shoulders. Her hair is tied up. Oh yes, she's also looking at the viewers instead of looking to the side. Take a closer look at her facial expression. What do you think she might be thinking and feeling here? If you could fill in a thought bubble for her, what might you write? Talk with your art buddy. Similar to the last painting we looked at, this girl's facial expression is also pretty neutral. We can't quite tell what her emotions are. She could be thinking a variety of different things, or maybe nothing at all. You may also notice that this portrait is created only with just one color. Why do you think the artist used only the color black for her drawing? Maybe the drawing is a quick sketch? Or maybe the artist wants to focus on the different qualities of line instead of colors. Let's look at the various lines in this drawing. What do you notice about the lines? What type of lines are they? How might you describe them? Tell your art buddy. Can you find a line that's very thin and light? How about a dark and curvy line? Point to the area where there are multiple lines going in the same direction. What about a line with a loose, feathery edge? Can you spot them? This drawing is created with charcoal. Charcoal is a black crumbly drawing material, traditionally made from the twigs of willow trees. Charcoal gives artists the ability to create a wide variety of lines, depending on how the artist holds the material, how much pressure the artist applies, and how the artist moves the charcoal stick across the paper. As you can see in this drawing, the artist drew fairly quickly to give us an idea of her neck and shoulders, as well as her hair. However, the artist really slowed down and carefully depicted all the details on her face. We can see how her hair forms her eyebrows, all the fine lines around her eyes showing the eyelids and eyelashes, as well as the way her nose is shaped and the lines around her lips when they are closed. Inspired by this portrait drawn with charcoal? Let's make some drawings. All you need are a charcoal stick and some paper. You don't have a charcoal stick at home? No worries. You can use a black oil pastel or a black crayon instead. Here I have an oil pastel, a crayon, and a charcoal stick. So I'm going to experiment with them and see what kind of lines and marks that they can make. So maybe I'll start with the black crayon. So I'm going to hold it normally like I would. Make some lines with the tip of the crayon. Maybe press down a little harder. Some swirly lines. Maybe some straight lines. Going really quickly. Maybe some dots. Dotted line. And then I'm going to turn it sideways and draw from the long side of my crayon and see what that looks like. It's a thicker line. If I go it this way, it covers a lot more area. It looks like it's picking up the textures of the paper. I'm going to go in maybe quickly on my paper and have my hand dance around the paper. Maybe I'll go slowly and see what kind of lines that makes. Now that my hands and fingers are warmed up, I'm ready for my portrait. So think about whose portrait you're going to draw. Is it someone else from your home, or is it yourself? I will be drawing myself today, so I have a mirror set up in front of me that you can't see. I went ahead and started a really light sketch already. So this is the outline of my face. I look really carefully at the shape of my face and the lines that create that shape. And I drew it lightly because this way, if I want to change it later, I can always use a darker line to go back and cover up the lighter line. So now that I have the shape of my face, I'm going to add in my eyes. Your eyes are typically halfway down of your face. So I drew a line right in the middle of my face. So I know that's where my eyes are going to go. So I'm going to look at the shape of my eye, and it looks like it's kind of a curved line on top, and then the curve on the bottom to make kind of an almond shape. So something like this. Let's do the same thing on the other side. And I notice this line on top of my eye that creates my eyelids. I'm going to add that. Go ahead and add in the pupils, which is like a rounded circle shape. And I'm seeing some eyelashes. Now that I'm done with my eye, I'm going to add my eyebrow. So your eyebrow is actually made out of lots of tiny little lines. It's not one skinny line. It's more of a shape. So I'm adding all these smaller lines to create a shape of my eyebrow. So I think I like how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and press on a little harder to make the lines a little darker. And I'm going to move down to my nose. So I'm seeing this curved line that forms the bridge of my nose. The side of my nose kind of curves around, that forms a nostril. And do the same thing on the other side. Something like this. And then we move on to my lips. So there's a dip at the top of my lip. Your mouth is actually made of two lips, one on top and one on bottom. So you have two shapes. It's kind of like almost like a mountain. And where your lips meet, they form a line right between. I'm going to draw my mouth close. So something like this. Once you're done with your face, don't forget your hair and your ears. My hair is covering my ears, so I can't quite see it, but typically it should be right around here where your eyes are. And your hair, obviously you can draw every single strand of your hair, so I would draw them as a really big shape. So I have a really high forehead, so I'm going to make sure there's enough room for my forehead. And looks like my hair comes down from the side like this. So actually, I'm going to use the side of my crayon, create that larger shape. So something like this. Once you're done with your face, don't forget your neck. Your neck is actually wider than you think. They're not a skinny line. Your head's actually really heavy. So your neck needs to be strong enough to hold it up. So something like this. Seeing kind of a shadow under my chin, my shoulder. So obviously I am not done with my portrait, but you get the idea. Once you have all the shapes and all the lines in, take a close look at your face to see if there are any details. Some of you might have freckles. I notice I have kind of like a mark on my forehead, so I can include that. If you have glasses, you can draw your glasses. And if there's room for your shirt, for the top part of your shirt, you can go ahead and add that in just so your head doesn't look like it's floating in the air. I hope you enjoyed the two artworks we looked at as well as the drawing activity. Drawing faces can be challenging, but think of it as a practice. Your drawing doesn't have to be perfect or look exactly like a photograph. It's always interesting to observe our faces while making notes of our observations in the form of a drawing. Please share your drawings with us on social media using the hashtag #FryeFromHome. I will see you here next time, and until then, keep on drawing.